Alright, everybody, my name is Hein Fiber. Fizzy
No
Stardust
way.
is that guy right there, and right there, that's MBZ. He's below us, and he doesn't know where his nuts are. And this is 2.5 Gamers, because
Yes, sir.
me and that guy are a gamer, and he's half a gamer. So,
Yep.
for those of you who did not join us, I
Well,
believe it was last
I
week.
like to disagree because he only plays Nintendo, so technically he's half a gamer.
Excuse me.
Plus,
sir.
he can't beat Mario 3,
Excuse me.
so
Okay.
own 3D. Boom.
Owned 3D.
Anyway,
Yeah.
for those of you who didn't join us last week, we have faces now. And
Function. Great.
for those
It's a
of you
brand
who
new
are watching us on the video on demand, and are like, where the hell were these guys live? We're live on Own 3D today because Twitch didn't want to let us work. So that's that story right there. And
Yeah.
basically, our format has changed a little bit. Not since last week. We have what we played this week, our introduction segment, etc. Talk about. We each have one topic we're going to talk about today, and then we might do some calls and kind of wrap up the show after that. So I'll let you guys, as always, kind of decide for yourselves who's going to start, but who's played what this week. Go.
Rochambeau.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, go!
Double scissors.
Double scissors. Okay, let's go again.
Okay, let's go again.
Ready?
Rock, ready?
Wow. It's paper,
Alright,
scissors.
you go.
He was like 3 seconds later, but it's whatever.
I know. Go for it.
Fizz,
All you.
I'd also
Fizz,
like
you
to
go.
point out that Fizz said Rochambeau, which is the kick each other in the nuts competition.
It is not.
Oh dear. Yeah, it is a Xerxes video all up in here. That's a funny reference. So I'm going. All right, fine. Me winning means I go. Okay. So
Yeah.
I've played one significant thing this week, and then something else which is kind of significant. But the main thing I've been playing, obviously, New Super Mario Bros. 2 came out this month. Actually, last month it came out, the end of last month, and I held off on it for a little while because I was like, I'm not really that bothered, but I didn't really have much else to play on my 3DS, and I wanted something new, and I knew it would just be a solid game that I could play, so I thought, why not? Go to Amazon, order it, it was a good deal. And also, this was the first game on the 3DS eShop to be a full retail download game, so I could have gone on at midnight on day of release and downloaded the full title from there. But problem with that is that Nintendo don't really understand the concept of digital distribution, as we well know, and so they're charging a full 40 quid, which is it's like a $60 game. That's like a full price PS3 game, which is slightly ridiculous for a portable. So I really don't think that
it's outrageous.
Yeah, I don't think that went well for them. Honestly, I don't think that they had a huge number of people downloading the version onto their 3DS instead of going and getting a retail copy, because on Amazon it was £10 cheaper, like a huge difference. So there's no way that I'm going to go out and get the digital version. First of all, I need a bigger memory card in order to hold it and stuff, and then other stuff is annoying because it's extra price. But yes, I have the game, and it's the same. It's the same, and I'm not really surprised, honestly. It's something that I expected to happen. It's a game that we only heard about maybe 3 or 4 months ago, so they've really shipped it out very quickly. It's been worked on by a new team. This new team who worked on the game are very fresh developers, just straight into the industry who Nintendo have picked up, and they've gone through like Mario school, apparently. Apparently in Nintendo there's this place that you go, they teach you level design and Mario level design. So basically what they did is put all these guys through this so-called Mario school, and they all learn how to make Mario levels.
I can make you a Mario level right now.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. I'm sure you could. The thing is, you don't think about though that level design is something that's very difficult to do, and Mario games do have quite intricate and very smart level design. So it is a good thing for them to do because it kind of helps pave the way for the future generations. You know, because there are people who are gonna. I mean, the video game industry is very young at this point, and we only know like the Miyamotos and the Iwatas and all these people who haven't kind of moved on yet because they're still part of the industry, and so this is kind of the next wave, as it were, of Nintendo developers. So it's very exciting. Not that exciting when it comes to this game though, because really it feels like they're stunting innovation completely, and it's a complete cash-in. And I mean that's pretty obvious at this point. There's no other way around thinking of it. Nintendo have lost a lot of money in the last year, first time they've had loss in a very long time, and this is where they make their money back because it's been proven this game franchise has sold millions upon millions of copies to a whole number of people, and just the Mario franchise in general has such a huge amount of cash in value that the 2D side-scrolling ones anyway, that they can easily do it and get away with it without having to. That's going to be like sort of talking about my topic later on, but that's kind of yeah, bridging on that. Otherwise, yeah, I mean the game's based around collecting coins, and you essentially go around the level, yes, getting as many coins as you can and just playing through the levels. Really, I've almost beaten it. I'm at the final. I have 2 full worlds to go because you have to unlock the special worlds by defeating a boss as Mini Mario, the same thing that they did in the original New Super Mario Bros. Games, I think. So that's something that I still have to go back and do. So I still have 2 full worlds to do, but I'm pretty much at the end of the main story, I guess, and haven't really had much problems. It's a very simple game, very easy. They basically throw lives at you. The problem with the coin collecting mechanic, as if you were to even call it a mechanic, is the fact that in every Mario game, if you get 100 coins, you get an extra life. Which essentially means that because I have 13,000 and something coins, I have a stupid number of lives that I don't even need. And I don't know, the system seems very antiquated at this point. Why don't you just, you know, get rid of lives and just do what everyone else does and just make it an automatic restart? It's a bit weird, honestly. So I don't know why they still do that. I also don't know why they don't let you save. They let you save in terms of like a quick save, but they don't let you save at any point. The only time you can properly save is after you've beaten a dungeon or a halfway point in the level. So it is a bit weird that they've done that, because Mario 3D Land was really good about this. It saved after every level and you didn't have to worry about it. It was a very pick-up-and-play experience, and it was very tight. But this just seems to not adhere to that, and it's strange because Nintendo know how to do portable games usually, and I don't know, it's a bit of a strange one. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's going to knock you out of the park because it isn't. It's nothing new, it's nothing spectacular, but it's a solid Mario game. If you are interested in that, then I recommend getting it because it's fun and it's still enjoyable as always, because
A vast virus database has been updated.
Apart from that, last night, actually, I started on my challenge to finally finish Final Fantasy 13 on PlayStation 3. I've been at the end game section for quite a while. I think the last time I played it was like around February this year or something. I haven't picked it up in a while. But Nagi, friend of the show, Naranagi, he's a big fan of the game and he knows quite a lot about it. And so I enlisted his help in my mission to finish this game. And so last night we went at it, got to the final boss, of which there are 3 back-to-back, which makes me want to pull my fucking hair out. But it was tough, and I couldn't finish it last night. So this afternoon, or this morning as it was for Nagi, came back on to play Final Fantasy 13 again, and to finally finish the game off. And after a lot of trying and going through different combinations and looking at stuff online as to how other people did it, basically the first boss is very simple. And I didn't have trouble with him last night. It took me about 20 minutes last night to do the first one. This morning it took me 5 minutes, which was kind of weird, so I don't know what happened there, but I'd managed to destroy him this morning. Second boss was the one I got stuck on, and this is the one which will make you want to pull your hair out, because it's just frustrating. You build up to this point where you've been able to basically take on everything the game throws at you up to this point, and then you come to this guy and you think, well, fuck me, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to beat him, because it just seems impossible. It seems like an undoable task. And so I guess that's why a lot of people get frustrated by these kind of JRPGs and their endgame bosses, because they just are really fucking difficult, and you have a lot of trouble taking them on unless you go and grind for an extra 40 hours or whatever the hell you want to do. It's going to take a long time. So, you know, it seemed like it was doubtful, but in the end, I was able to push through. I beat him, and then I beat the third and final boss, who was actually a lot easier, and that was it. That was the game. So I've now finally finished Final Fantasy 13, a game which I have enjoyed immensely, and I am glad that it's done. No, Nagi likes it as well. Nagi loves it as well. So I am not alone in my love of this game. I really do enjoy it, and I know that I am in the vast minority when it comes to people on the internet and Final Fantasy, but I enjoyed it. So there you go.
I put in like a whole, I don't know, 2 hours of like playing that game, which was really only translates to about like 15 minutes. And then like an hour and 45 minutes of cutscenes. And I was like, I'm so done with this.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that really had me with it, I mean, from the beginning, the battle system isn't very good. Honestly, for the first, like, at least 3 or 4 hours, you don't even gain experience from battles, which I don't understand why the hell they did that. And maybe it's to introduce things slowly, because they introduced the leveling mechanic later, as opposed to throwing everything in your face at once, but I don't know. It just every battle seemed kind of pointless for the first 3 or 4 hours, because you aren't actually getting anything. I mean, you're getting items, but those aren't like hugely, you know, a big deal to your quest. Hugely a big deal. I mean, the only time I tried to use items was at the very end of the game when Nagi explained the system to me. They never even explain this system of how you upgrade your items. I don't understand it at all, and yet Nagi somehow knows it because he's read online or some bullshit. But that's the only time I ever did the weapon system. And
well, you can Mario 3, so
yeah, thanks.
How can they expect you to upgrade weapons?
I know. It's a tough job. No, I don't know. The whole system is just weird, and I still don't really understand, honestly. But hey, that's how it goes. It's a Final Fantasy game, and things are going to get convoluted no matter how you spin them. So, yes, I am finally done with the game, and I can now move on to something else, which is on my PS3 unfinished. Perhaps Arkham City, which not Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, then Arkham City. I need to be Arkham Asylum first. But I'm definitely going to get to that next, because I'm still like, I played it for 2 play sessions when I originally got it, and then for some reason I put it down. I can't quite remember. Maybe I had to go back to uni or something, but I kind of forgot about it, and it's still sitting there.
Two like PlayStations or sessions was all I needed to beat that game, because it was so good. Like, I just sat down for a weekend and just plowed right through it.
Yeah, just power through it, yeah. I'm sure it would be a good way to play it.
The only bad thing about that game was the final boss. Just going to throw that out there.
A lot of people say that, yeah. A lot of people have said the final boss in Arkham. And I mean, that's another topic that maybe we could cover at some point, is like the necessity that people have for final bosses, or even bosses in general in games. I might bring that one up next week. That could be quite interesting to talk about, but there you go. That's my stuff that I played this week, and I will pass the baton on to whoever wants to go next. Go rock, paper, scissors if you like.
Baton, but I will go next.
Baton pass, baton pass, whatever the fuck. I don't know.
Let's go for it.
Anyways, you guys, I've been kind of on a game hiatus a little bit. Been playing a little bit of Madden, the new one this week. But most of my time went into Pokemon card game, which I went to Battle Roads, one of them, and I scrubbed out. So that was a bad time. And like the worst city in California ever. If you live in Hollister, California, or you ever think about hey, maybe I'll go there for something, don't do it. It's the worst city ever. That being said, I can say there's a game that I'm going to play this week, and it involves this little bad boy right here. I finally pulled out the Kinect from my box. I'm going to play Kinect today, and I'm going to play Star Wars Kinect, baby. It's gonna be
look at it, the glory!
just crazy awesome. I got... Where'd it go? I got my props ready. You can't fuck with it. I'm gonna roll like Galen Merrick and just like backwards.
Yeah.
The backwards grip, the reverse grip. Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a fun day. But yeah, that's pretty much it for right now. I'm in a transition from moving from one job to the other job, so money's a little tight. So I gotta really buckle down and decide to play games that I've not played in a long time, and get around to that. So new games are on hold. Old games, they're coming back. Also, I've been on this quest to find a decently priced Ultimate Alliance Gold or Platinum version, which is impossible, or a decently priced Ultimate Alliance 2, and those would be great to have. But yeah, that's like my major quest right now. I will just throw down like, I want it, because you can't get them anymore because of Disney's acquisition of Marvel properties and stuff. Makes me sad. But yeah, that's where I am this week. It's just been a busy week, not for video game's sake, but for other stuff's sake. And also, like all week long, I've been having like this undying urge to play League of Legends, but Jake's always at work. And I don't want to play with anyone else because he tells me what I should like buy and stuff, so I feel like I'm good. So,
so you can buff yourself out.
Yeah, we got to make that happen. Because I just like, the game's fun. The more I think about playing it, the more I want to play it, and then I don't play it, and then it just builds up. And I'm gonna play it like one day, be like, oh, that was so satisfying, and then I won't play it for months probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
So, Jakey Pie, where are you this week in the week of video games?
In the hot seat.
Well, I got into the beta for End of Nations, which is an MMO RTS type game, which I actually kind of got slightly addicted to this weekend, even though I didn't have a huge opportunity to play it. No, MMO RTS. It's not an RPG.
Yeah, not an RPG.
The premise of the game is there are two factions, and the world is kind of based around the war between these two factions. There are basically, like, if you think of Star Wars, the Republic and the Rebels, basically the same thing, just with different names. And the cool thing about the game is you look at their kind of homepage menu screen is the globe, almost. And I think it's in real time, because when I played it at night, the West Coast was all lit up, the East Coast was kind of dark because it was like 3 in the morning for me. And
it's kind of like what DayZ does, just syncs it with real time, right?
Yeah, I think so. And you can kind of battle in different places in the world. There are different scenarios in various cities, etc. And there's different kind of map types. So, there's 2v2 maps, there's a 4v4 map. I actually saw one, I think it was like a 2v12 map. It was really interesting, to say the least. But the people who had the two were like, it was an attack and defense kind of map, where they had all sorts of extra buildings. And obviously, because it's still in beta, they're adding new stuff all the time. But the way the combat mechanics work is, unlike a typical RTS game, you don't have like a base where you can make units and send them to battle. You have squads, and there are 4 squads that you can switch between, and there is a limit to a number of units that you can have in it, which are limited again based off of resources. So if you have a tank, it requires X number of resources, etc., to a cap of 1,500. So your squad is typically along the lines of 8 to 10 units and a couple of turrets that you can bring in. That's on average what it is, or at least at early levels. When you obviously level up, you get new new units and new abilities, which is kind of cool. And like I said, it was a game that I've really had a lot of fun with in the limited time that I've had a chance to play it. Unfortunately, I think it's now done, so I won't get to play it today, so it's here. But it's definitely a game that, if you enjoy RTS at all, you're probably really going to like it. I'm not personally a huge RTS fan. The last game that I really got into that was a real-time strategy game was Age of Empires 2, which was fucking ages ago.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, like
That's a long time ago.
I have StarCraft 2, and I think I've played it maybe 3 times since I bought it.
Right? Yeah, me too. I should probably do something with it.
Yeah, I probably should too.
You should go play with Ferris. Ferris loves that game.
Ferris would be too good. I'm like a team of 4.
Yeah.
Take him on.
Yeah.
I played Red Alert 2 as well, actually, now that I think about it. So Red Alert 2 and Age of Empires 2 were the last 2 RTS games that I actually played. So
quite, yeah.
End
quite
End of Nations is definitely a game that I have been enjoying immensely. So I'll probably be doing some more stuff with that. And 188 APM on StarCraft. See, I just don't.
I don't even know what that means.
Actions per minute.
Actions per minute, yeah.
I probably have like 7.
The Koreans have like 400 or something.
Yeah, the Koreans and the Europeans are really the top 2 contenders in StarCraft, from what I can tell.
Yeah,
but,
it used to just be all Korea.
Yep. That's kind of the only.
And there's probably like one American in there who's like solid.
Yeah, I think that's the only really major game that I played since we did this last. I worked 6 days straight this past week, so I really haven't had time to do anything.
Yeah.
Like I think I maybe played like 2 games of League this week before this weekend, and that's really it. I actually downloaded Gotham City Imposters because it went free to play on Steam.
That's right.
And I actually wanted to play it. I just haven't gotten around to doing that yet. Maybe I'll do that this evening.
Yeah, I failed to set up like most of my Steam games on my new computer, but I should do that soon too. I'm gonna have like all this cool stuff soon, and it's gonna be great. Yeah.
I mean, what was I gonna? Okay, I'm not saying anything. I didn't. I just started speaking, and nothing came out.
Speaking of not coming out, I have a great segue today.
All right, go on.
Okay.
All right. Speaking of not coming out, you know what's not coming out?
What?
A Bethesda game for Wii U. Boom.
Okay.
So
I thought you were going in a way different direction with that.
No. So basically, my story for the week, or my topic rather, is Bethesda. They quote put our games out on all platforms that will support them, and so far the Wii hasn't fitted into that. And then whether the Wii U does down the road is to be determined. So I mean, for right now, they've got no stock embedded in the new Wii U. And they're not going to make, Wii game anytime soon, obviously.
No,
they
I'm
don't have
not
that
surprised.
Kind of
I'm not surprised by that at all. It's not surprising in any way.
I know.
To call this news is a bit of a push, honestly, if I'm going to be honest. Because the relationship between
Fallout and Elder Scrolls series, so it's like really not a Nintendo thing at all.
I mean, this is the problem.
Perhaps maybe like Wii U, now that it's HD and seems a little bit more standard gaming, maybe.
I would say that it's not out of possibility for any Bethesda game to come to Wii U at some point. I'd say that is definitely within the realms of reason, because the system can handle it, and they'll obviously be able to port it from the other systems without much trouble, right? Unless they have real issues with the gamepad and stuff. The issue here is that no one is putting stock into Nintendo currently, because the Wii U is a very murky system at the moment. No one knows a lot about it, and Nintendo aren't even releasing that much information. That said, there's going to be some stuff in 3 days' time they're doing a press conference releasing details about pricing and launch date and everything. But currently, when it comes to third parties plus Nintendo, it's like a non-existent thing. So I don't really see this as a surprise, and the third-party support for Wii U doesn't really look too dapper currently. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes, but I don't think
it's
that.
Just, it's a weird thing because it could happen now. It's because they're like stepping into standard gaming really, but I don't think you're gonna see much of. I really don't know. They may do something with like the gamepad and do some kind of like arbitrary like thing with the screen, like a
I almost
menu or something.
I almost guarantee that within the launch period you're going to get the same thing that you had with the DS, the same thing that you had with the Wii, the same thing you have with the 3DS. It's just people pushing the gimmicks of the system out the assholes, really, because that's what third-party developers do when these Nintendo systems launch. They try and use every function possible on the device that's coming out because people want to. I think that Nintendo tries to push them to get people to kind of understand how the system works and all the new features that it has involved with it. So I think they have a lot to do with that. But I know that obviously they're porting lots of games to the system, and things like Assassin's Creed 3 is not necessarily going to use any gamepad-specific features. You'll be able to play it away from the TV on the pad, but I doubt that they're going to include any like specific Wii U like gesture or whatever touch-based controls. There may be some cool things like switching, having your equipment set to your gamepad and being able to switch it easily with a touchscreen to keep kind of consistency on the screen. But I mean, that's not like anything really innovative. It's just more convenience based. So I don't know. It's not bad. I mean, it's nice. It's a nice thing to have. And the thing that I'm probably most looking forward to on Wii U is the fact that I'll be able to play the game on the gamepad away from the TV if the TV's taken, or if I just want to lie in bed and have the gamepad and not have to look down at the TV and whatever. So that's something that, because me personally, as someone who's more used to and does portable gaming more often, it's just a nice concept, and I'm looking forward to being able to do that. So that's good.
Definitely.
Yep.
What do you think, Jake?
I think I remember reading an article like a while ago when the first Metal Gear Solid came out for PS3 that there were more pixels in Snake's beard than the Wii could handle. That's what I remember.
I remember that. I remember that.
And this is relevant because
unless the Wii U...
Because I want to bash Nintendo and the Wii is stupid!
No, okay, here's why it has relevance. What does Bethesda do? Every game Bethesda's ever made, they go hella balls deep with their environments. That's what they do. And if the Wii U can't handle that in a proper way, Bethesda's going to say, screw this, we're not even going to bother trying. That's what that has to do.
Well, the thing is that Bethesda, I mean, Skyrim already has problems on PS3 as it is. They're not even releasing Dawnguard on PS3 for the sheer reason that they have problems with the persistence in the world, that when you drop items, they're supposed to stay there, and the PS3 version can't handle that. And so I wouldn't say it's necessarily going to be to do with the power of the system. It's to do with how they deal with porting it over and being able to make use of the technology as it is, honestly.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, in relation to, like, a current-gen system, let's, like, take the PS3. Like, how powerful is the Wii U going to be? Is it going to be on par with that? It's certainly not going to be better.
No, I think it will be on par, if not slightly better, and the only reason for that is that this technology is 6-7 years old by this point. There's no reason Nintendo can't get the parts together to put something together that's a little bit better than either the 360 or the PS3. It's not necessarily going to be that much better out the gate, because as you experience, the Xbox and PS3 have both changed significantly throughout their lifespan as developers get used to the hardware and able to make games look better, run better, and all that kind of stuff. But maybe out the box, the hardware might be more powerful. You just won't necessarily see it within the first year, because obviously people are getting used to developing for it.
at the end of the day, Bethesda has always been a PC gaming company first, and that typically just ports their games over to consoles because they know they're going to sell.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah. I don't think that they'll go heavy behind the Wii U, if at all, simply because it might be a pain to port for because of the gamepad thing, as opposed to putting it on, say, the 360, which is the best console if you have a Bethesda game on console, just because it typically has the least amount of issues. If they do port it on the Wii U, it's literally just going to be a straight port, and your little gamepad thing probably won't have any extra features. If it might, at best, allow you to just have the menu down there. I would think that's about it.
Yeah. The other problem that you have to address, of course, is it worth putting the development resources into making a Wii U port when there are not necessarily going to be that many people buying it? You have to consider the kind of people who are going to be purchasing a Wii U and whether they're actually going to be interested in getting this type of game on that system. There will always be an audience for it on there. The hardcore gamers who are dedicated to Nintendo and also want to play all these third-party games, they'll buy it. But that's only a limited number of people, and I'm not sure it's the hugest audience in the world. Which means that
gamers on Nintendo. That's like saying Jumbo Shrimp.
He means fanboys.
Not necessarily. I mean people who use Nintendo consoles as their lead console, but want to play third-party games as well.
So you mean like 2 people?
So I mean like maybe 5 pushing it.
In the world.
I don't know. There's quite a few people like that. I mean, you know, it's a smaller demographic. But there are enough people.
I don't think I know anybody who wants to play third-party games on Nintendo.
Hello,
Nintendo for
I'm right here.
Games.
Hello.
Okay. Wait. All right. Wait. Let me ask you.
I don't know anybody with brain cells that wants to play third-party games.
Hey, NBC.
Yeah.
Would you rather buy The Force Unleashed for Wii or The Force Unleashed for PS3?
PS3, but that's not the point. No, I was saying that
you just
Nintendo.
Proved our point.
No, I said I don't know what maybe I misheard you. I don't know what you were saying, but I was saying that I said that Nintendo is my main. The Nintendo consoles are my main consoles, but I'm also interested in playing other third-party games. And if the Wii U was to have those on that, that's where I would be buying them, as opposed to on the PS3.
That's what he just asked.
PS3.
No, he said on the Wii or the PS3. He didn't say Wii U.
Okay, fair enough, I guess. Yeah.
So it doesn't make that's completely that's a null point, because who's gonna play the shitty Wii version? I played The Force Unleashed on the Wii version. My God, it looks like an N64 game. It's horrible. It is fucking horrible. I don't want to see that ever again in my life.
But then it comes down to like, okay, let's say like the Wii U's out now, but then also the next gen consoles also came out, like PS4 and stuff, and then you're at the situation where like, okay, do you same situation, some third party game. Do you really want to like scale down to like a Wii U, or do you want to like
But I mean,
more power can tailor PS4, right?
This is the point now, though, isn't it? I mean, there's not a huge difference. There's not going to be a huge difference when you're jumping between the PS3 and the PS4 and the 360 and the 720. Not like the jump that there was between the previous generation and this one.
I have a feeling
at least in terms of graphics. No, I mean, you can tell right now just by looking at current PC specs. Maybe a year down the line, things aren't going to look that much better. The PC looks better, sure, but it's not mind-blowingly better. You can't tell significantly a difference between a PlayStation 3 game and a PC game running in the settings.
Yes, you can.
You can't. It's not the same difference as a PS2 to a PS3. There's no way you can say that, because it isn't. It simply isn't a huge enough difference. No, there isn't.
Yes, there is.
There is not.
It's pretty significant. if you have a machine that can like...
It's not that significant.
It's incredibly significant considering that the PS3 and the 360 run at 720, not at 1080. They're physically
But
not
I don't
designed
even...
for it.
The human eye can hardly see the difference between 720 and 1080.
Okay.
I can't.
Have you can't... You couldn't see the video because it got taken down. When... If Total Biscuit uploads his video for Dark Souls, he did a comparison between what the game came out as and then the 1080 mod that came out for it. If you can't see the difference there, you are blind.
You can see a difference, but it's not the same difference between the PlayStation 2 era and the current era. There's simply no comparison for that.
It's still miles ahead of it. Like,
it looks better, sure. It will probably look better, but it won't be unbelievably different. It's not. Not as far as my eyes can tell.
Well, then you need glasses.
You need some of these, bud.
No.
Again, if he re-uploads that video, and you'll see, and it's drastically different. And
I'll make my own judgment. I will make my own judgment.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, MVZ, maybe if you didn't have a computer from the Stone Age.
Wow, okay. Jeez. Fucking
JK, much love.
Throwing stones now. Alright.
Speaking of throwing stones...
Good. No!
Jake had something to say about stuff.
Yeah, I do, actually.
Go on, stop.
My topic this week, kind of... I wasn't really sure what I was going to talk about this week until I saw something on Steam the other day. And I was on Steam, and it was a featured game, and it's an indie game called To the Moon. Now, the reason that this had significance to me was this was a title that seemed very familiar to me for some reason. And I clicked on it, and I looked at the description, and I was like, oh my god, that's why this is familiar to me. A few years ago, and we're talking about 3 to 5 years ago, I used to dick around with a program called RPG Maker, which does exactly what you'd think it would make. It allows you to make an RPG game, kind of with the Super Nintendo-esque graphic style, kind of a 16-bit system.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just spent at least a little bit of time with that program.
Yeah, and there was a guy by the name of Kan Gao who was making a game, and it was probably the most popular game from that program ever, and it was called Quintessence: The Blighted Venom. I remember playing this game 5 years ago, and when I went onto Steam and saw To the Moon, this is a game not only designed by the same guy, but using the same program, and it is actually now a Steam game, and this is a game that had a score of 90 on Eurogamer, 4 to 5 on Giant Bomb. I think it was 8 out of 10 on IGN. GamePro rated it very high as well. And it just kind of shows the indie games that really have a presence on Steam. And this wasn't a Steam greenlight game either. That's kind of the thing that surprised me the most. This was a game that is just straight up on Steam, and it had... I mean, in general, it had really good reviews. Metacritic gave it like an 81. And it's an entirely different kind of game. There's very little gameplay to it. It's more about the story, and the story itself is that the two main characters are two scientists who can give you a procedure that will allow you to relive your memories and change them so you can kind of do your life the way that you wanted to. And it's a story about this old man who basically wants to go to the moon and doesn't really know why. And it's apparently a very powerful story. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to play the game yet. But one thing I can tell you for sure about this game is that the music will be far and away above the phenomenal level, because Kan Gao, that is basically what he did That's how everybody knew him in the RPG Maker scene, was because of his music. And then he recruited his friend Laura Shigehara, who did the music for Plants vs. Zombies, another big member in the RPG Maker scene, so that was somebody that I kind of knew the name of as well. And my topic kind of became how Steam can really help out these companies, because the quote indie company that made the game is just a little thing called Freebird Games, and it's basically a one-man band. It's Can, and he kind of recruits people to help him out, but 95% or more is just him, and now he kind of can make some money via Steam because his game is up there. I think it's an $8 game on Steam. When it's not on sale, it's 20% off right now or whatever it is. And this has kind of given him an opportunity to, if he so desires, to move ahead into the video game world. He could potentially be picked up by another indie company and kind of kickstart his, quote, career, which, as somebody who recognized the man, he was actually from London, Ontario, which is where I used to live, just about. So I actually got a chance to meet him one time. I was really happy that he got some success there. But just Steam in general, allowing somebody to do that, that's actually really cool. And I assume that very few people have had that kind of, hey, I know the guy who made that game experience on Steam. But it's great to see that Steam has always been a company that helps out indie games. A lot of games wouldn't be successful if not for their Steam and Valve support. And now with what we have with the Steam Greenlight, we're going to see even more of that, because now the community can decide, hey, that indie game looks cool, let's get that as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of problems with Steam Greenlight, some of which they fixed already, but it still has a little bit of issues with it. If you're just giving it over to the community, it's very easy for, websites or communities or people to troll games or to, downvote things and upvote stupid things that shouldn't be on there. So that system does need a little refining, and it's good and understandable that they've introduced the $100 entry fee, which goes to charity. So I mean, that's a step forward, but it's still something that needs to be, made a little bit better than it currently is. But it's definitely a good thing, and I'm glad that they've introduced it.
Oh, for sure. One of the great things I love about it, you look at Kickstarter, and that was pretty much the reason Steam Greenlight came to be. Yeah, there are troll things on Kickstarter, but if you look at things like Tim Schafer, there's the Ouya, obviously the big one. At least nowadays, we're seeing less trolling. I mean, obviously Kickstarter is a little bit different because there's money being put into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just, hey, I'm going to click the like or the dislike
Click a button. Yeah.
But I do feel like as a whole, when it comes to these kind of things, generally you're seeing actual input put in there, not trolling. Obviously, they had to do the $100 thing so better quality games would be put up for vote on Steam Greenlight. But I think, at least for the most part, the actual voting is less trolly and more significant. And I agree that they still need to do a little bit of tweaking, but I do like the fact that as a community, we got a bit of a voice now, and we're not just abusing it generally. Obviously, there are people who do that.
Yeah. There always will be.
I think this is just a general movement. I mean, moving towards having everyone have a say in video games, just as opposed to these big publishers and developers. I mean, it's not really the same thing, but I think the whole Mass Effect debacle was just something where you can tell how much influence the people who play these games have, and I think that that's definitely had some contributing factor to this whole thing. Because it's giving people more of a voice in what they want to see. So,
and it also really works out well for a company like the Ouya. They could essentially kind of adopt that, or they can look at games that are going in through Steam Greenlight and potentially contact those developers as well and say, hey, we got a $99 console. Do you want to be on it? Because we're going to be big.
Super huge with like 8.5 mil.
Still the stupidest game console name of all time, but
no way, because that's the sound you make when you play it. You're like, ooh yeah.
I would
No.
still take the Ouya over the Wii /Wii U any day of the week.
Yeah.
No.
You're a Nintendo fanboy.
No, I know. Even if I wasn't a Nintendo fan, Wii U is actually somewhat familiar because we all have Wii already embedded into our brains. Ouya is just
Wii
a
is
random
still an awful thing.
But it's the amazing thing about Wii is how huge the brand was around that name. If it had been called anything else, I doubt it would have been as huge. Just the branding that they put behind it. From a marketing perspective, the name is genius.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's a name that can be said in multiple languages. It's short, it's easy to remember, it's distinctive. It's something that stands out and people will know it and remember it for the rest of time. From a marketing perspective, the name is perfect.
No.
It's stupid, but it worked. And
You know what made anything work. They're marketers for a reason.
96 million units have been sold.
That doesn't prove anything. That doesn't make the name good.
It means the marketing team is good, but it doesn't mean that they can brand anything. Like, their marketing...
They could have called it the Super Game Console Extreme, and it would have been amazing.
Yeah.
No.
Also, that's a better name.
If that was what it was called, it would... People wouldn't have gone into GameStop when it came out and be like, can I get the new Nintendo?
No.
Yeah.
I disagree. It's fine. There are lots of disagreements here. Usually myself is involved.
Because usually you go like say something ridiculous about Nintendo.
Yeah, he can't let anybody bash Nintendo. He's like, no! Fuck you!
Hey, Jake. Did you know that Nintendo is really Jesus and God and wrote the Bible?
So it's Tim Tebow?
So it's fake?
True facts. No. Nintendo is Tim Tebow's dad.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hashtag.
So you know what that means? That means since Nintendo is God and Jesus, that means Tim Tebow is God and Jesus' kid. It's crazy. Now that's a weird family tree, because that's dad and son had the same son. Whoa! Shit's bonkers, man.
Crazy.
Also, Nintendo invented electricity.
But I mean, if you look at names, okay, the PlayStation's been around forever. Everybody knew that.
PlayStation is still a stupid name.
No, it's
the
not.
PlayStation.
Okay.
Every
video
game console has a terrible name, and that is almost universal.
I disagree.
Almost.
You know what my parents...
The only reason you think PlayStation is not a retarded name is because you're used to it.
I never thought it was a retarded name. The first time I heard PlayStation, I never thought it was stupid. The first time I heard the Wii, I was like, oh my god, this is the worst thing in the world.
The PlayStation. It sounds like a child's toy. Yes, it sounds stupid.
Okay, that was marketing.
That's good marketing.
That game, when did that come out? In like the fucking early 90s, something like that, mid to early 90s. It told you what you were gonna do.
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
No. You know what's good marketing though about that name? You know how like if you bought any kind of system, like your parents would go, "Oh, you're playing Nintendo."
Yeah.
PlayStation became that new thing. Like if I had any system, my parents would say, "Oh, you're playing on the PlayStation."
Or with the Game Boy, the Playboy.
Genius marketing.
The Playboy happened very often.
Or if
like with my grandfather. Oh, hello, you're playing on the Playboy there. That is fun.
See?
I'm like, no.
Sony is the marketing genius. The Wii is just dumb. They just...
That's always stupid. No one has an Xbox and their parents are like, oh, you're playing on the Wii?
This is true.
Yeah, but that's because
that's a whole another different conversation we're having.
That's a completely different conversation. Completely different.
Speaking of completely different conversations.
Xbox is also a stupid name, I'd just like to point out. It's just, they're all retarded. Just leave it at that.
I don't know about Xbox.
Xbox! It's like trying to be cool, but extremely lame.
Yeah!
No.
It's still better than the Wii.
It's an extreme box. That's what the X stands for. And you know why they call it Xbox 360? Is because when you walk towards it, you jump in the air and do 360 because you're so excited you're going to play it, and then you play it.
And you know why the 720 is going to be called the 720? Because
Microsoft are uninventive.
No, it's because it's for the 720.
Oh, okay, Super Nintendo. If you want to play that game. It's a really inventive game system. Name.
We know it stands for DirectX. He's not being serious. So.
I just want to point out that Super Nintendo is the best console ever, even though I just... Yeah.
720 is because every time you play it, you're only playing Call of Duty, and all you're trying to do is 720 no-scope headshots.
Nice. Alright.
So does Nubs even have a topic?
Yeah, I did. I told you. No, it's not. It's... Shut up. Fuck you. Fuck you and your beard, and your fucking glasses, and your stupid hat. No,
Somebody is salty today.
Super bitter. Got sour grapes.
I gotta defend my corner, man. I gotta defend it. That's how I do.
Yeah.
Alright. What was I gonna say? Yeah, well, I was gonna talk about sequelitis, as it were. The stunting of innovation and growth in, not growth necessarily, but just the stunting of innovation with these constant sequels to games in the industry. I know a lot of it has to do currently with coming to the end of the current console cycle. There are franchises which have been established throughout this entire, last 6 years that have, made a big impact, and a lot of people know them, and therefore companies know these games have a pedigree, they're going to sell, so they just put their resources into sequels, and not necessarily put as much effort into those sequels as they did into the original games or the original concept. A lot of the time the sequels will, turn out quite a bit better, they'll have extras and stuff, but it won't be anything groundbreaking or anything completely dazzling that will stun people completely. And so, just sitting here playing
Call of Duty.
Exactly. I mean, this is the funny thing though, is because there are so many people bitching about New Super Mario Bros. 2 and New Super Mario Bros. Wii U, or whatever the fuck it's called, U. And those games are...
Stupid name, right?
Yeah, stupid name. I never said that the Wii U was a good name. I said that the Ouya was worse.
I think the Ouya's fine.
Clear. Make it clear.
I love the name. I love the Ouya.
It's a terrible name.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm derailing.
But people are complaining. This is the thing. People are complaining that there have been 4 of these same games in the last 7 years, or however long it has been. I think maybe the last 8 years even. It was 2004 when New Super Mario Bros., the original one, came out, and there have been these 4 games. They're all exactly the same. And yet you have these things like Call of Duty, which has released a game annually for the last, 7 years. I mean, come on!
Yeah, but there's a huge difference between those 2 games.
But the point is, that's not the point. There is, of course, Call of Duty and Mario are completely different games. I'm not disputing that in any way.
No. What I'm saying is Call of Duty is 100% designed for its multiplayer, and they know it's going to sell. They don't have to innovate because people play it because it's a first-person shooter that you can get in and throw down. It's not like Halo where there's actually a semblance of skill required, and if anybody thinks you need to be good at Call of Duty, you're...
But that's the same thing. They make the same thing because they know it's going to sell, and it's the exact same thing with the New Super Mario Bros. Franchise. Nintendo have it proven.
The difference is, with Call of Duty, it's not designed to be a single-player game. They don't have to innovate it. With Super Mario Bros., it's a platformer, there's only so much you can do, but if you look at, say... Mario Brothers Sunshine, that was kind of innovative. That introduced new shit.
But why don't they have to innovate on the multiplayer? Why don't they? There's no excuse for not innovating on the multiplayer. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a multiplayer or a single-player game. You can innovate on both spectrums, right? So that is a complete null point in my opinion. How is it? I mean, how? You can easily innovate on the multiplayer. They just don't, because they know it's going to sell. They know that they're lazy, and they know that people want the same shit over and over again. People complain about this. People complain they want innovation, but really people want the same shit over and over. Otherwise, they complain even more than they usually do. The difference between the Call of Duty audience and the people playing the Mario games is that you know, the audience, they're completely different audiences, right? So I don't know what I'm going with here, and I've just lost my train of thought because you're all laughing at me, so shut up.
I was laughing at something Nick sent me on Skype.
Yeah, ditto.
Wow.
No, see, when you have a multiplayer game, you have only so many things that you can do. The only way that they could possibly, quote, innovate multiplayer is when Call of Duty came out, it innovated the
Fucking Nick.
Shut up, I'm talking. It innovated the difference between, say, Counter-Strike, which was the main kind of FPS, because it added a lot. It added kill streaks. It added a ton of different weapons to it, because Counter-Strike really was limited in that kind of aspect. You look at Halo. Halo incredibly innovated the shooter. It kind of introduced the whole online matchmaking thing. That's kind of a big thing.
Yeah.
But they've kind of taken first-person shooters about as far as it can go. And when you look at multiplayer games in general, you can't really innovate them. You can take it to a point, and then you're like, okay, there's nothing more I can do.
I'll argue the fact the only thing that Call of Duty can do, it has done to innovate their own game. They're like, the only thing they can do is change the way you upgrade stuff, change what you can actually get, and change the maps. I mean, like, what else can they actually do?
Yeah, the only other thing they could do is get rid of their leveling progression system, but that was kind of the whole point of their multiplayer. You get in, you get accomplishments, you unlock a new gun, you're like, fuck yeah, I did something. And that's really all you care about. Yeah, they could do new game modes, as is mentioned there.
I mean, there's multiple things they could do. I mean, they could change up the formula completely, and I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I'm not the one having these ideas. But I know that there are ways that they can change it. This can't be the limit of first-person shooters. There has to be somewhere it can go other than this. I mean, if it was, I mean, what would be the point in continuing this kind of line of games in this industry in general? Because if you say that's the end, then why are we even trying anymore, you know?
Well, when you
look
look
that's
at
the point, they're not trying.
Well, yeah. But when you look at something like a first-person shooter,
but I mean, you're defending
innovation has to do with what time period their games are set in. Obviously, when you went from World War II era to the modern warfare kind of era of games, there was obviously innovation there. Now they're stuck in that we've done the past, we've done the present, we can go to the future, but then we're probably going to be turning into Halo.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's what they're trying to do with Black Ops 2 right now, is they're going to try and kind of bridge that gap a little bit, as you can see. So, you know, from what we've seen of Black Ops 2 anyway.
But with Black Ops 2, it's kind of it goes back and forth. It's going to have sci-fi aspects to it, but if they make it a pure sci-fi game, I guarantee you Call of Duty. I can't even say it won't be as successful. I don't know why I said I guarantee that. But you'll probably see a lot more comparisons to Halo, and personally, as far as sci-fi shooter goes, I don't think you could ever beat Halo, and this comes from a guy who doesn't like Halo.
Yeah, I mean,
I honestly don't think that they could innovate shooters any more than they have at this point in time. They, you know, we've heard new game modes, but when you think about it, I think all of the game modes are covered. You know, there's the death matches, which is standard. There's attack and defend kind of things with domination, with headquarters. They have two of those. They have the search and destroy.
CTF.
There's capture the flag. Like I personally don't know any other game modes that they could possibly do.
Yeah. I mean, this is.
I think the only
really
thing you can't do is like really just change the setting. It's like maybe you could just go into space and have like an outer space warfare, or I mean, shit.
Yeah, I haven't played Doomsday for TF2 McBoss, but I have a feeling that it might just be a rehash. Like I said, I haven't played it, but my opinion on it when I first saw it, it was just kind of like a rehash. It seemed to me to be just man versus machine, almost either, I don't know, like an attack defense or team deathmatch kind of thing. yeah, you can rehash things, but that's what Fizz was just saying. It's where is the game being done? What's the objective? Are we trying to capture a flag? Are we trying to move X objects to Y point on the map, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, until someone actually finds a legitimate way to innovate and change how these games are played, the first-person shooter genre is going to move on, and another genre will take its place as the dominant one, because people will get sick. People are already getting sick of it, and people will leave it behind. I mean, this is what's going to happen and what happens in the industry in general. Another genre will take its place, one that will, you know, be more, I guess, innovative and interesting to people, because if this is indeed the end of innovation for the first-person shooter genre, and there's nowhere else it can go, what's really the point in continuing with it?
Well, okay.
Because people like sequels. I mean, take a look at our pop culture as a whole. I mean, how many Spider-Man movies were there? There was 3 in that one series, and then they rebooted already.
That's not necessarily. I mean, the reason for the reboot hasn't really to do with that. It's to do with Sony.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying,
licensing
sequels
issues,
in general.
really.
I would say it has to do with the fact that they killed off all the good villains, and they're like, well, fuck, we can't make another movie.
Well, just sequels in general, they sell, no matter what. I mean, you know how many superhero movies we have right now? All the Avengers movies are intertwined, so they're essentially sequels to each other.
Yeah.
And each superhero is getting a sequel. There's going to be a Thor 2, a Captain America 2, Iron Man 3 coming out, and Avengers 2.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't give a fuck. We've seen it all before, but we just want to see more.
Yeah.
So I think that's like.
But the point
for
here,
gaming too.
The point here is that we have seen it all before, and this is like really saturation point. It's been 7 or however many years Call of Duty has come out every single year, and people are sick of it. It doesn't show in the sales, but that's because
people aren't really getting sick of it now, are they?
No, but I mean that's the I mean, sales-wise doesn't show that, but I mean the minority of people who are vocal about it are the people who say these things.
So
and,
the
you know,
people who don't like Call of Duty in the first place, though.
No, not necessarily. They're the people who have become disenfranchised with it. You know, I mean, it's people. It's from all angles, really, and I just don't think as soon as it starts to drop off sales-wise, then that's it. That's the genre is going to go into a downward spiral from there.
If you want to talk about innovation, in my opinion, the greatest way to look at it is look at MMORPGs on the PC. When they first came out, they were all very Korean in their design. They were grind fest, etc. When World of Warcraft came out, that was all it was. There was no questing in it. It was you got to a point and you had to kill 1,000,000 of X to level. World of Warcraft innovated the MMORPG, which is why it's still popular to this day. They added questing, they added a bunch of new mechanics to their game, and that was the way the MMORPGs, that's what they were. Star Wars The Old Republic, World of Warcraft with new design, just better storytelling. Then you got games like Terra and Guild Wars. They changed the model. It's not hotkey-based combat anymore, which is what MMOs were to this day, and it basically became a thing where people just stopped caring. World of Warcraft went down in popularity because it was the same thing over and over. There was no more innovation. They took it as far as World of Warcraft could go without completely redesigning the game, which they can't do at this point in their franchise. That's why Guild Wars 2 is so popular right now. That's why when Terra came out, its innovation was amazing. Unfortunately, it's also very Korean in its design, where it's completely grind-worthy, but apparently its endgame is awesome. I just could not sit there to get to it.
Right.
And
that's tough.
Now you look at the big multiplayer games. They're games like League of Legends, Dota. They are games that spawned from mods on Warcraft 3. They're a new game mode. They're what's popular in terms of online multiplayer games, at least on PC. In fact, they're going to consoles now too. There's the Lord of the Rings one that's being done by, if I remember who's doing it, Warner Brothers. That's who's doing it.
Sure.
And it's going on consoles. So that basically, there's a point where everything gets to. There's nothing we can do but we can rehash it. We can change. Obviously, MMOs figured out a way to keep it interesting, but platformers, especially with Mario, they figured out ways to do something with it, and they just went back to their old format with what they did. It was kind of, they remade their old games rather than continuing on with innovations that they had done, or at least that's what I saw from Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to know, if you want to see a great example of what you can do with a sequel, still keep it fresh to what everyone was used to, but completely redesign everything and make it into such a better game. I highly
Zelda 2 for the NES.
No, it's a video that I highly recommend that you go watch Eagle Raptor's Sequelitis on Mega Man X. It is a perfect example of
very good video.
Right that you can do with a sequel to keep it fresh and new, but keep everything that you had in the past. Yes, Mega Man's my favorite IP, so I'm a little biased in that, but he explains
it's totally true.
To perfection, and that's riding on cars, exactly. It's a great video. Yeah, it's really funny, but he makes a lot of great points with it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
definitely.
Obviously, we're gonna see new games come out, and then we'll see sequels to those new games. But the way gaming is, the reason that gaming is great is because gaming is constantly evolving. So you look at when Uncharted came out, it took the action-adventure game and it modified it. It became basically a movie that you played, which was fucking great. L.A. Noire came out. It was a good game, at least I thought so. It added kind of a different element to, say, other games of its genre. I don't want to plug it in there with, say, Grand Theft Auto, but it's the only game that I can think of that even kind of compares.
Is L.A. Noire like strictly open world though? I didn't think it was.
Not really, but it's the only game that I can really think of off the top of my head that at least directly compares to it, or even remotely compares to it, rather. So, obviously gaming is always going to evolve, but when it comes to sequels, whether it's from a platformer or a shooter or an MMO, they're going to hit a wall at some point. They're going to go back to what they know, which is what you see with Mario. Maybe in a couple of years, they'll think of something that they can do to innovate it, like what they did with Luigi's Mansion, because Luigi's Mansion was hella innovative for that Mario franchise.
That's not a good thing, because it's a completely different franchise. Luigi's Mansion isn't a Mario game, it's a Luigi game. It's a different thing. I know that sounds stupid. I know that sounds stupid, but it's not. It's not part. It's part of the Mario universe. It is not strictly. It's not a platform. The game isn't a platformer. Therefore, that's a null point. It's not a platformer. I don't understand.
Their IP and they innovated it.
No, but they didn't innovate. They used an existing IP to create an additional branch off IP, which was within a different genre. That is a completely stupid and ignorant comparison, sir.
You're ridiculous.
I'm not.
So, okay, look, someone in the chat.
The points and the facts.
All right.
Yes, it's a Mario game, but it's an RPG. It's a branching. It doesn't. Never mind.
But Paper Mario is also a platformer, though.
Intellectual property. Just because something is it's Luigi and it's not a platformer, it doesn't mean they didn't innovate their IP. They took it in a new direction. That's what innovation means.
No, it's not. Not in that sense. Not in that sense.
Mario
it's fine.
Kart.
It's fine because you don't understand. The problem here, and I mean it's a big problem, is that I know this universe, this Nintendo, knowledge. I have this knowledge that you don't. You have the PC knowledge that I don't, and therefore we come to this head-butting scenario where we both think that we're completely right, and neither of us probably are, but it's what happens. So it's
like if Call of Duty made like a plane fighting game. What? What? It is. They're taking their IP and they're innovating it. You know, to fight planes. You know, dogfighting. You know what I'm saying? Like in the air. Like
then it wouldn't. No,
Top Gun.
It wouldn't be a. No, it wouldn't be a Call of Duty.
It would be
game.
a Call of Duty game.
It would be under. It would be under the Call of Duty name. It wouldn't be. It wouldn't. Yeah, this is the problem.
Take their IP and innovating it.
But this is the problem. When you say innovate, it's not. You're when you say innovate,
a new idea.
When you say innovate, you're meaning.
They had a new idea.
When you say innovate, you mean completely changing the genre, right? When you're saying innovate, right?
No, not really.
I mean, that's what the argument here is that innovate means change the genre. You can innovate within the genre to make it different and, you know...
Yes.
Different and different.
Sure, why not?
But that's not the,
Okay,
issue.
so you... okay. Alright, there's no innovating a platformer. There you go.
Yes, there is.
Okay, fine.
Okay,
You know what? I'll take away the Luigi thing, just so there's not there. Again, Super Mario Sunshine innovated that franchise.
Yes, it
I
did.
thought it was a bad game, personally, but...
Yeah. Yeah,
they
it
obviously didn't roll with that. They went right back to what they did before.
Galaxy's completely different, though. I don't see that that's really a comparison, because
Galaxy. What's the difference between Galaxy and Super Mario 64?
Galaxy changes the physics system completely. It makes platforming it takes 3D platforming and literally turns it on its head. The amount of innovation in both Galaxy games is astronomical, for use of a better term. But it is a significant. I mean, the platforming mechanics are the same. The base mechanics are still there. It takes the genre and just takes it somewhere completely different. And I mean, that's the problem, that you haven't played it, so you can't really comment on innovation in that way, because you don't really know.
But wouldn't that be innovating the genre? Or not innovating the genre, but innovating just that game, a Mario game?
I don't understand.
It innovated.
But that's
Mario,
a good.
Yes or no? Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Nubs.
But
you said no. You were saying that it didn't.
Mario
innovated
Mario games.
Like I was actually asking.
All right. Yeah.
So
yes, it did.
Why are they going back to their old stuff?
No, I mean, the thing that you have to make a distinction between as well is the difference between the 3D Mario games and the 2D Mario games, because there is a very huge distinction. And the thing with the 2D Mario games is that, I mean, in Japan especially, people are much more willing to play the 2D games because there are still lots of Japanese people who are scared by 3D Mario games. This is why Galaxy doesn't do well. They don't really understand the concept, and they can't really grasp it as well as they can a 2D game. The 2D games not only provide nostalgia for them because they know the old games, but also they also add something new that they can kind of try out because, hey, it's a bit more polished and it looks a bit different and all that stuff. And the reason Nintendo do that simply is profit-based, it's monetary, and that's why innovation has been stunted in that space. I don't think that 3D Land is stunted in terms of innovation. It borrows lots of things from Galaxy and is developed by the same team, but it does so many different things and so many interesting things that it stands out from those games on its own. And I guess the point that I'm making here is mainly with the new Super Mario Brothers franchise, because that is the one where they know they can make money on and they don't have to change it in any way.
But they're not really... I can't even call them sequels. All they are is...
They technically are. It's called New Super Mario Brothers 2. If that isn't sequel enough for you, I don't know what is. But it is a sequel. It is a game that comes after another in a line of games, so I don't know how that isn't a sequel.
Okay, I straight up, I don't know which one it was, but I know they straight up basically remade Super Mario Brothers 3.
As a remake, yeah.
But that's
they remade
all,
it on the Game Boy
all
Advance.
that I see that new Super Mario Brothers is remakes of the old 2D games.
It's not a remake, though. New Super Mario Brothers are different games. They obviously use the same platform stylings as the old games do. They're not as good because Nintendo don't innovate with them. They stick to what's simple, and they basically create level packs, as it were, every time they release these games. These games could just as well be
essentially
DLC.
Mario is COD.
Well, essentially, at this point, this franchise is, and I have no reason to argue with that because they are not changing this franchise at all. They've stuck to their guns and they know what they're doing in order to make money, and that's what they're doing. They're making as much money as they can because they can.
And I think that it brings it all back to our original point with like sequelitis.
Yeah.
It's just like people like what they're familiar with. They like having things, not even necessarily sequels, but things from the same IP.
Right.
It's just something that's familiar, something that you're used to, something that you like, you want to see more of. You know how, like, I want to see 1,000 Star Wars The Force Unleashed games. Galen Merrick is legit my favorite Star Wars character of all time, and he's not even a canon character. So I want to see, like, 1,000,000 games because I'll never be tired of it.
Right.
Yeah,
Don't
but
care.
1,000,000 games is still only going to be like 40 hours of gameplay.
I'd like to see them make The Force Unleashed 3 be like a solid, like, 20-hour game. That would be, I would love that. As opposed to 5 hours.
Yeah.
Anyways. So yeah.
Anyways.
Is there any more to, like, add on that?
I think we pretty much covered a lot there, so there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good times.
Yeah!
So, at this point in the show would be...
where we do something interesting! Like that.
Well,
I gotta be honest here. It's like 3 o'clock, and I have about a million things to do today.
Yes.
So, and I know that Fizz has to go to school in an hour.
Yes.
So
I need to sleep.
I think that we should forego calls today.
Sure. Yeah. I actually didn't even realize the time.
We had some technical difficulties, and we started a lot later than we were supposed to.
Yep.
Some of it was my fault. Some of it was Nubs not showing up when he was supposed to.
I was here.
Some of it was us not telling Nubs that to show up when he was supposed to.
No, we
Also,
had agreed that we showed up together at noon and get ready to start
to discuss the show. Yes.
And I was late because, to be honest, I overslept. I woke up the second I got your text, and Nub showed up basically while I was in the shower, which was after 12:30.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So let us just go ahead and do our sign-off shit, so that I can do my errands that are gonna take forever.
Awesome. Okay.
Guys, it's Fizz Stardust on YouTube, it's Fizz Stardust on Facebook, it is The Fizz on Tumblr, and LFizz on Twitter. I will be playing this week. It is not known whether or not I will make videos out of it yet.
Not known whether you'll be alive afterwards.
I have a very limited amount of space, so I have to do a lot of reorganizing to get this Kinect to actually read my body cues. So that's my plan. I think I'm going to go back to maybe some Lollipop Chainsaw, get that done. And again, I'm going to be starting The Force Unleashed pretty soon when I have another free day, maybe tomorrow or the next day. Start recording matches or levels, rather, gameplay of that for my channel. Like I said before, it's Fizzy Stardust. You guys can check me out there. And have a good day.
I am youtube.com/emperorzen, the stupidest name on the internet, I know. I can't change it, fuck my life, unless I go to YouTube. I can, technically I can, I can, but do I have the pull to be able to change it? No. So,
no, technically you can't change it at all.
Oh no, technically I can't change it at all. I can create another link which will go to my channel.
Yeah, why don't you just do that?
Because I don't have the same pull that Total Biscuit and Jesse Cox have, so it's not as easy for me to get it done.
I'm pretty sure that anybody can do it, though. I don't think you need to have.
Yeah, anyone can do it. It's just
as long as you get
more convenient if you
want.
Yeah. I'm not sure if MBZ still exists because I think the account may have been closed. but I might be able to get that eventually. Anyway, moving onwards, what else? Twitter, Lord MBZ, I changed that as well. Facebook /Lord MBZ, and that's about it. Tumblr, Lord MBZ, I think, as well. And this week, business as usual. I'll be doing more cap, create a Pokemon metagame stuff, which is fun. I'm enjoying that. So I've got like 3 or 4 more videos of that to go up. So you'll see that. Battles as usual. More Uncharted, more Fire Emblem, etc., etc., etc. But we're done.
Okay, so I'm youtube.com/HeinFiber21. I might do the whole redirect thing just to get rid of the numbers. We'll see.
That'd be nice.
Twitter.com/HeinFiber. I don't do Facebook because I just don't care. I don't really.
Because you're a wiener.
I don't use my personal Facebook. So
you had Facebook before, didn't you?
yeah, and then I was like,
Yeah, Sir Poops a lot.
I wasn't using it, and I was like, there's no reason for me to keep this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really use my personal Facebook anymore either, so I basically just use it to talk to people that I don't have.
See, when you get super much famous, though, you're gonna love the Facebook thing.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's great.
But,
I quite like it.
As far as videos going out, I actually have been meaning to. I have everything literally sitting on my desktop right now. I pulled up Vegas and I have all the video stuff done. I just have to do the audio. I just haven't had a chance. Yesterday was football day, and yeah, I might do that later today because I have, like I said, I have a bunch of errands to run, so I don't know when I'll be back. I have recorded some End of Nation stuff. If anybody cares to see it. It was basically there just in case I need filler video for something. And
IMO, you should record League with Fizz.
Okay.
IMO, you should record Beyond the Podcast.
I could.
Forgot all about that. It's good.
Especially because now we've changed the format so we don't talk about news. I could bring that back, yeah.
Yeah.
If you'd like to see that, let me know in the comments below, people watching this on YouTube. Oh, speaking of, you'll see this on YouTube within the next day or so. I might put that up today, and then put the video that I currently have being worked on up the next day.
Quick notice about the iTunes version. Currently, I tried to download the previous podcast as an MP4, not an MP4, as an MP3. And the version that I got downloaded from the site I downloaded it from was over 100 meg, which means I couldn't upload it. So the usual way that I download the podcast is not available to me at the moment. I don't know why, but I may have to sort something out to try and get that back onto iTunes, because it's not really letting me do it at the moment. But hopefully I'll fix that. But stay tuned.
Something Butterfreak pointed out that we need to do as well is we have a couple of games that us as the 2.5 gamers we're going to do, including Trine 2. Might see that this week.
Magica. Don't we have
together.
Magica as well?
Yeah, but
I don't have Magica, but you can use Ferret.
Okay.
Well, I thought you got it too,
Yeah.
and then all 4 of us were going to play.
I don't. Yeah, I didn't get it because I was too slow, and yeah, I missed it.
Whatever, it'll go on sale again at some point.
Yeah.
Trine
so
2 then, yeah.
If we can all get together, obviously I work this week, and basically getting together might be a problem, but there's that. Was there anything else that I was going to do this week? No. I do the whole League of Legends casting thing on Saturdays. If you...
He said doo-doo.
And you're the oldest one in the group.
I am. That I am.
So, yes, as I was saying, I do League of Legends casting. I didn't do it this past weekend for reasons that I'm not going to get into. But if I do that, do again, I actually might be doing it with Joe, a.k.a. the Butterfreak.
Joe, a.k.a. the Butterfreak!
Which would be nice. We have to figure out what's going on there. But you could totally check that out. I'll probably post the stuff on Twitter when and if I go live with that.
We should get Joe as a guest on the show. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be great. But unfortunately, if we do it Mondays, he does have a job. So.
True that. Working hard.
Hardly working.
Yeah. I don't really have anything planned this week. I actually battled a couple of times, so I have a couple saved up that will probably go up this week. But other than that, nothing major. Like I said, I do have some End of Nation stuff. If anybody cares to watch it, let me know. Trying to maybe League of Legends, maybe, and that's about it.
Yep.
So it's been real, you guys.
It's been real. Very real.
Like, real intense.
Like Hellman's mayonnaise, like fucking.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know if Nubs has that over there.
I do. Yeah, I get that.
So in the comment section below, leave a comment about who's your favorite gamer. I don't know. Give him a sense of a comment.
Yeah, go on.
I tried. I was like, if you want to see these things, let me know. We're still looking for ideas for like the other thing that we're gonna do on the show, because nobody wanted to leave comments about that last time. So
yeah.
If you have ideas for ways to improve the show, comment thing below.
We love it.
Yeah.
We do.
But
all right, guys.
That's gonna be it for us today. I'm High in Fiber. That's Fizzy. That's Nubs. That's Nubs. My hand wasn't in this thing. Peace out.
Toodaloo, you guys.
Goodbye.